Welcome everyone to the next section of our tutorial on our lesson Microsoft Excel Made Simple. Last lesson we talked about cell referencing. We were exposed to relative, absolute, and mixed cell referencing. For today, we'll be looking at data validation. And by data validation, we will be looking at data validation with restricted data and how to develop a data validation template. By template, we simply mean a structured row and column developed, headed, and designed for a particular purpose, depending on what we want the purpose to be like. Alright, so to go into this, I will employ each and every one of us to download our exercise 8 file, as this is the file we will be using in the course of this practice. Exercise 8 file, please download. I've already downloaded my copy here. Let's open it. Exercise 8 file, data validation. Alright, so we've opened our file. This is what we have. We have a template here. Restrict data to predefined items in a list of 1 to 20. Actually, what data validation does is to help us determine the type of data we want in a column. For example, this is a serial number. The data we want should be numbers only, numbers between 1 and not more than 100. But in this case, let's say 1 to 20. This column is registration date, is expected to contain only date value, no letter value, no number value, date values only. While these names will consist of letter values, not numbers, not dates. Of course, ID number is the same thing as number value. Score is number, and of course, score 2 and total score are all series of numbers. Now, if we look down below, we have some selected item. So let's call this the ID. So to align with what we are doing, let's call this ID, and this is product color. Let's call this name, which represent the product name. All right, so we already have a predefined product name here. We also have product color, and we have a predefined ID, identity number for each of the products that makes them a unique identifier. Let's see how validation works. So we select the range of cell that we want to apply the validation to. If we want to apply it to the entire column where we don't have a template in mind, we'll just select the column letters and we go ahead and we apply the validation on it, and it will be applicable to the entire column. But in this practice, we already have a selected template I want to use, so I select the range of the column that should be formatted. Then I come to data menu. Now, under my data menu, where we have my menus, you move down to your right where you will see data validation. Click on the drop down arrow. You have data validation, circle validation, invalid data, clear validation, circle. So let's select data validation. This opens the data validation dialog box for us to determine the parameter and the format that we desire. This column, we want it to be numbered. So we come to settings. Under settings, we see allow. So what do we want to allow? We want to allow only whole whole numbers. That's what we want to allow. Now, we want the whole numbers to be between a minimum of 10. So it should start from 10 and a maximum of 40. So the numbers minimum 10, maximum 40, meaning any value less than 10 or more than 40 will be rejected. Then I can now go to input message. This is where I determine the messages that will be displayed that will help the user of the document to identify what is expected of them. Of course, we can decide not to put the comment if we don't want any comment appearing, and we can simply come to error alert, in which case we state the error message so that whenever a wrong value is imputed, this error message will appear. So the title is type of data, that is the type of data that should be entered in the cell. So I say type of data to be entered. Now the error message is enter numbers between 10 to 20 only. That's our error message. So we say OK. So the validation is set. So let's see how it works. So I come here. If I put 1 and I press enter, I have the error message that says enter number between 10 to 20 only. So I have to go and retry again. This time around, let me put 11, enter, it goes to the next line. Let me have 14, enter, it goes to the next line. Let's have 17, it goes. Let's have 20, it goes. Let's have 25, it goes. 24, it goes. 35, it goes. 40, it goes. What of 50? Error. It has exceeded our maximum value. So we click on retry again. So let's have 36, 37. So we have input our value based on the parameter that we have specified in our validation rule. Now let's come to registration date, which is expected to be a date value. Like its previous column, we select the column we want to format. We come to our data menu. We come down to our data validation. We select our data validation. We come to setting. Now, the value we want to allow is date value. We want date value. Now, what is the range of the date value that I want to use? The date value should be between 1st of January 2026 to 28th of February 2026. So that is our range. Now we can define our error message by saying the type of data and the error message that will be displayed is only dates allowed. Only dates value, let's call it like that. Only date values. Alright, so I click on OK. So I have it here. So if I just put boy, I press enter, it will be rejected, telling me that only date value is allowed in the row. So I click on retry. I can put my date value. Let's have 2nd of January 2026, which falls within our range. So we have it. We can also have 11th of February 2026, still within our range. let's apply serially, all still within our range. But the last, let's go beyond our range. Let's have 31st of December 2026, enter error message, only date value. So we have entered a date value that is beyond our maximum date range that we define. So we try. Let's have 19th February 2026. All right, so that is settled. Now the next value is names. So we select the column, come to our data menu, we select our data validation, we come to settings. What do we want to allow? We want to allow, let's say any value. Let's say any value. Let's say any value. So for any value, definitely there will be no need for error message since any value is allowed. So I just click on OK. So I can have the name of a product, for example, mango. So 46 rent. So any value will be allowed because we choose any value while determining our validation. But we don't want to do that. We want to have our product names. This is product names. So we want it selected in list of value instead of typing it in. So what do? We select a range of column. We go to our data menu. We come to our data validation. Now we come to our settings. Now we have what? Whole number, we have lists. So we want to use list of value. Now, what is the source of our list? Let's come here. The source of our list, all right? To get the source of our list, let's shift this to the side. Let's come down. We have already defined the names of our product here. So these are the lists that we want to use. So we have selected our lists. Then we say OK. So if we go back to our format, our template, we see that we now have a drop-down list. So instead of typing the name of the product, we click on the drop-down list. All the products are there. Then we can select. Let's say this is for battery. I go to my next column. This is for laptop. My next column. This is for laptop charger. Next column. This is for fan. Next column. This is for television. This is also for headsets. This is for battery like the other. This is for laptop charger. This is for fan. And lastly, this is for battery. So that is how we use drop-down value instead of typing in our cell value. Now, ID will be number, score will be number, score 2 will be number, and total score will be number. And for total score, we use a cell referencing that will add up the scores in sheet 1 and sheet 2. So that is just equal to the value of sheet 1 plus the value of sheet 2. And we have our enter. So the value of sheet 1 is 56, the value of sheet 2 is 100, then we have 156. So guys, I will need you to populate the rest of the data and practice further. This is all we need to do and how we can use our data validation. Hope it's clear and hope we had a great time. See you in the next class. Thank you.